Hey, what's up, guys? Just checking in, letting everyone know that we are still alive. Right, Mir? Still good?
Yes. Um, we haven't drowned in the we haven't drowned yet in
No,
the on the ship that's sinking.
no, no, no. Still good. So, we're gonna talk about the mix-up today, of course, the last major that happened over the weekend, as well as some tidbit stuff at the beginning here. First off, no news. Surprise, surprise. And it's looking more and more likely that evil is gonna be when Capcom finally says something. Better late than never, I guess, at this point. Like, waiting half a year now. And maybe E3 Mir, because but I doubt it though, because Capcom's, it's kind of Capcom and Sony, a little partnership there, with Street Fighter V being an exclusive game for PS4, and with Sony not showing up this evil, I highly doubt that they're gonna show something, but they might, maybe a new character, we'll see. But probably Evo by that point would be the day, because August would be coming up really soon afterwards. So, yeah.
Yeah, remember, guys, that we're excited to share news about the game with us in the upcoming year. So imagine if they weren't excited, how long we would have had to wait.
Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, everyone's pretty distracted right now. There's MK's out now. We have Samurai Showdown coming out pretty soon. I think Capcom is just simply just gonna let the game go dormant and just wait. And then hopefully this update will be so huge it'll bring it back on the map. We'll see. Yeah. But speaking of Mortal Kombat, Mirror, Capcom has challenged everyone and came up with an excellent distraction for Street Fighter V. Instead of releasing an update, a new character, new content, or anything like that, Capcom is going to make Street Fighter V a game that's basically 3 years old. Free to play for 2 weeks. What say you?
With 16 characters plus 4, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something.
I need to check out those Steam reviews again. Always going to be great for that kind of thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, that'll be a useful distraction. And, well, actually, reading some of the reviews for Mortal Kombat 11 have been very interesting as well, especially for the PC version.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, they got a lot of bug fixes they need to do themselves. So, it's always been a little crazy. One little thing, too, there was like a very tiny patch for Street Fighter V Mirror, and they actually got rid of that Chun-Li glitch, which we haven't talked about yet. But long story short, Chun-Li had this glitch where she would basically fly up on the screen towards the moon, and if you had a life lead, you would automatically win the round. It was great.
Yes.
It was game breaking. It was very easy to do, and it was Blanca level glitch. And Chun-Li was S tier for at least a week and a half. So that was interesting.
Yeah, definitely. You could call it interesting. It's, I guess it's funny how many glitches there are still to discover in this game.
We haven't had really many game-breaking glitches though in Street Fighter V, surprisingly.
No, just recently Blanca and now Chun-Li, I guess. Actually, Vega could fly off of the stage at one point.
Oh yeah, that's true too. I remember that. That was right at the beginning as well. But yeah, I mean, the fact that Capcom hotfixes these pretty fast means that they are, there's still some people working on Capcom under Street Fighter V, right? So there's still some hope if they're able to fix it that quickly. If they really wanted to let the game die, they would just let these glitches be there and just forget it until Evo, So, finally, last thing we should talk about, Mirror, before we get to the mix-up is 2 common questions people ask me all the time. 1, is Capcom going to make a new version of Street Fighter V? And 2, when is Street Fighter 6 coming out? Get these asked all the time, and I've answered this before, but once again, I don't think Capcom is going to make another version of Street Fighter V, especially the fact that Type Arcade was just recently released in Japan. It doesn't really make sense that they'd make yet another version again. I think Street Fighter V is reaching its end pretty soon, maybe a year or 2, and Capcom's either working on a new fighting game, or most resources are going towards Street Fighter 6. Now that we have more information on next gen, like PlayStation 5, for example, where we know it's actually not coming out in 2019, apparently, it'll be sometime in 2020. So, with that being said, the dev cycles at Capcom being like 4 years, we'd probably hear something on a new fighting game, probably around, if I were to guess, maybe 2021, and then come out 2022 would be a safe bet. So, Street Fighter V still has, a year or 2 left in its life I would say. What do you think, man?
Well, it really depends what kind of update they're planning, because it could be something like they did for Ultra Street Fighter 4, where they had Omega mode, right? Just throw something out for fun, not competitively, viable or anything like that. But at the same time, I'd imagine, a big patch with balance changes halfway through the season. I mean, we've seen this before, and the game desperately needs something to stay afloat, right? I'm sure that the competitive scene will still, exist even without updates, because the prize pools and all of that. Like, Capcom is supporting the Capcom Pro Tour, so that still is gonna happen. But for everyone else, I mean, it's been so long since the last update, since the last meaningful update, I should say.
Yeah.
So just change. Honestly, almost for the sake of change at this point, would be nice to see. So I don't know. Like I don't know if they're gonna give it a new name, like as if it were a new edition, or just call it season 4.5, or not even call it anything, and just roll out an update. But I'd imagine, something must be coming. Otherwise, I don't know, they're gone completely out of their minds.
So they're doing things differently, man.
Yeah, well, sinking their own ship is not a good idea.
No, I agree. Okay, let's talk about the good stuff now. Let's talk about the Mixup. That was the most recent major, and the first EU major, actually. It was in France. And actually, it's really funny, Mir, because during the Mixup, there's a lot of people complaining, like, oh, the times for this, the time zone and all this is terrible. I'm so tired. It's so late at night. Oh, and I find it hilarious because, there's mostly North American tournaments, and that's how the EU players feel when they watch the North American tournaments,
Yes.
So now you guys know how it feels, right? On both sides.
I'm only able to watch North American tournaments because I'm on the night schedule. Like, that should tell you something.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so in pools, honestly, even though it was just straight up killers again in pools, I don't really have too much to talk about in pools. I guess the first thing I want to talk about is Tokido getting absolutely smashed. Getting smashed. 2 2-0s in a row. One from Daigo, who obliterated Tokido, and the other, surprisingly, Haitani, another Akuma player, defeats Tokido. I think it was 4-0, like 4 rounds in a row. Tokido can't even take a round off. So, what do you think about that? It was just, just a bad day for Tokido, or what?
I mean, it's hard to tell, especially considering the caliber of the competition, right? At these kind of tournaments. It could be, honestly, it could be anything. It could be nerves. It could be just plain, well, I don't want to call it bad luck, because that implies that the other guy is not good. But you know what I mean. Like, as in, just made the wrong decisions.
But Tokido's always had problems in Akuma mirror matches, it seems. He seems to always be getting blown up by some Akuma player. Honestly, it always seems like that. And another thing, too, Mir, is that since Tokido is such a high-profile character, or not player, character, I'm thinking of Akuma.
Nerf Tokido.
I always do that. Anyways, since, everyone knows how he plays, who he is, and his style and everything, I think it's kind of a disadvantage at some point, right? Because if everyone's going to research... I mean, he'd be an easy player to research, right? Because even though no one is on Tokido's level in terms of Akuma, you can see how he plays, his tendencies, right? And all that. So I think that is some type of a disadvantage. It has to be.
But then you could argue that players like Punk would get the same treatment, but one's in top 8 and the other one's not. So
this is true. Mir. Besides that, Fujimura, another super high-profile player, as well as getting spanked. I wonder if this is due to the V-Trigger 2 nerf, but he had a lot of problems like blocking this tournament. I noticed he was getting blown up by a lot of players' offense. That NOS match was amazing. Did you see that match? The Balrog player? Oh, so good. Fujimura was just getting hit by so many overheads. great match. I'll probably put it in the background of this video. Actually, it's such a good match.
You're only happy because you're a Ibuki hater. Admit it.
Anyways, the Sako was also using some Kage again, and he got blown up for it. What do you think about that, Mir?
Well, we spoke about Kage to various degrees in the past,
Yes.
and we are not very confident in his ability to be a good character.
Yeah.
So I mean, Sako was asking for it. Basically, is what we're trying to say, or
Yeah,
at least that's what I'm trying to say.
I'm glad he's using Kage though. I love watching the tournaments, but it's just like,
Yes,
oh man, that character's rough.
like it's a really cool character. Don't get me wrong, but just like you cannot compare it to a Kuma or a Buki or a Rashid or whatever. So you have to expect some roughness.
Anything else you want to talk about in pools, Mir? We're gonna move on to top 8.
No, nothing really special. I mean, Daigo's matches that were streamed were hilarious.
Yeah, they were. But of course,
no.
we're gonna be talking about more Daigo in a bit here.
Yes.
Okay, before we talk about top 8, let's talk about the character usage. Once again, good variety of characters. We had 2 doubles this time, though, but technically they weren't doubles because 2 players were using 2 different characters. So first we had 2 birdies, but one was Fudo using Mika / birdie. The other birdie was Trash Box. And then we had 2 Bisons, but this is, once again, Problem X using Bison, and Dogra using Bison / Urian. Then we had 1 Akuma, 1 Zeku, 1 Guile, and 1 Karin. So, once again, this is interesting because now we're on the EU side of things for majors, and we're seeing that the character variety is still strong. No Kamis, I noticed no Ibuki, but we're still seeing top tier characters, of course. But at least we're seeing a lot of familiar faces. But there doesn't seem to be one character that rules all this time around. So, interesting. Okay, let's get into top 8 now. Notable players to talk about. I guess the first thing I want to talk about, Mir, is the birdie players are having more troubles than I thought. I thought, honestly, a birdie was so strong this season that it would be free. Like, we'd be seeing birdies winning majors or getting really, really close to winning majors. I'm talking like 2nd, 3rd place because, like, I don't know, birdie he's kind of like, I wouldn't say he's a super easy character to play, but he's a character you could pick up right away, especially for a pro player, and can really take advantage of his strengths immediately. You know, something like how Cammy was last season. And it doesn't seem like that. It seems like birdie players are struggling for how strong his V-Trigger 2 is and all that. Both Trashbox and Fudo, I feel. What do you think about birdie?
It could be that maybe because he's a little bit weaker defensively, but even then, he does have options. I'm not quite sure. Maybe because even though his like big buttons are really good, they are kind of like a big commitment. So really good players can kind of like play around it and with punish, at least try and get their space. I'm not quite sure. I mean, Birdie's definitely got really high damage and really high combat potential.
Yeah.
So he's a great tournament character, but I guess he's not as good as the others that we've seen, or maybe it's the players.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to say that Fudo's trash, but like it could be that, I don't know, maybe he's not to the same level as the other competitors.
I mean, Abigail was robbing a ton of players at the beginning of season 3, but we still didn't see Abigail like winning majors, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations. Again, every season kind of has like this shining star character that everyone says they're gonna win majors, but they never do, right? But everyone still admits that the character is very strong, and I think Birdie's that for season 4 so far.
Yeah, I mean, for Fudo is still a relatively new character, so maybe we'll see some improvement.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, he definitely feels like a strong character. It's difficult to say that Birdie isn't such a character, but yeah, like the results are in there, at least for winning majors. But I guess it's the beginning of the year still.
Yeah.
We've got, what, 3?
Yeah.
3 majors.
So, I mean, there's still time. Definitely still time. We had a Street Fighter spy in our midst, Mir. His name is Dogra. What is a DBZ player doing in top 8?
Hey man, he played 355. In fact, he went back to Bison.
Yeah.
Whom he played in Street Fighter 4 as well.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Then started Street Fighter 5 playing Bison.
Yes.
Then went to Urian. And then didn't want to play the mirror match against Pearl Max and played Urian. And got blown up. So that happened too.
Yes. I Dogra realized how strong Bison is, and Season 4. Starts using Bison throughout the whole tournament. Runs into Problem X, is like, you know what? This is whack. This is a whack mirror match. And I'm going to use Urian. But it was the way he played Urian that I think he found interesting.
Yeah, well, he tried to play more solid.
We're going to get blown up in the comments for this, I know it. Here we go again, dude.
Well, I mean, I've seen some EX headbutts here and there, but that's reasonable. Like, you do have an invincible reversal, might as well use it. But it didn't end well for poor Dogura.
No, it didn't.
It did clutch a couple of times, but it wasn't enough, I guess.
I think Dogura played really well this tournament because he had nothing to lose. I think he had nothing to lose.
Right after.
I think he just entered the tournament for the hell of it. Honestly, Mir, I think he entered for the hell of it and he just made the top 8. That's what I think happened. That's what I think.
So you're trying to say that this game's so easy you can play DBZ
I'm just
355 at the same time?
I'm just letting you guys know. There's nothing more dangerous than a man with nothing to lose, okay? And that's Dogura in Street Fighter 5. So yeah.
Is that why you lost?
Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about Angry Bird.
Yes.
I've been wanting a chance to talk about Angry Bird for a long time now. First off, I'm going to say right off the bat, he's the best Zeku in the world. I don't care. I don't care if you see Momochi or who else. Angry Bird is the best Zeku in the world. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. He's godlike.
Yeah.
And the way he's been... What's that?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just about to say, it's really good at pressing that standing heavy kick button when it matters.
Yes.
Which is like all the time.
And really good when it doesn't matter, too. Oh, man. I think we're talking too much shit today. But anyways, seriously, his Zeku is so good, and he knows so many good setups with him. And compared to someone who plays really solid like Momochi, I feel like Angry Bird really takes advantage of a lot of Zeku's tools. Especially that EX Demon Flip, I call it. And he's been using that a lot, even in neutral, right?
Yeah.
And in the command runs as well, too. So he takes a lot of risk as well. And buffering that crouching hard punch. He's been destroying people with it, especially against Luffy. He was using that as well to stop people from dashing in on old Zeku, because he uses old Zeku as well, where most of the time we see young Zeku among pro players. And I think the problem Angry Bird ran into, like before, all the ranking tournaments he's been playing, he's been dominating actually, Angry Bird. But now he's now in the big major and he's playing with the big boys. And I feel like a lot of his stuff is not working as well, especially on the EX flips, where against someone like Daigo, for example. Daigo didn't have problems blocking that. And another thing is that people are familiar with Zeku are anticipating the slides. Kind of like how people anticipate Bison's slide when they activate V-Trigger. And I think Angry Bird got blown up by that hard a lot, trying to activate that V-Trigger by sliding. I think that was his demise this time.
Yeah, I think it's also a little bit of nerves. Like you could see that when he was put in difficult situations, he kind of cracked defensively mostly. Like when he was playing, I don't know. Like you could tell that he was. I don't know. Maybe it's just.
He missed some big confirms. Like I mean, there was a crouch and light punch, standing light kick, super confirm he dropped, and some other notable ones.
Corner. I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, he wasn't playing 100%, but I mean, he's still top 8.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's
like I'm not trying
major. And...
Like I'm not trying to say he's.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At all. He's just had problems and didn't win it all after all.
But there's still room for improvement for him. So he's definitely leading the charge in terms of Zeku players and really putting him up that tier list right now. So Angry Bird's one of my favorite players so far this season. Okay, I guess we're gonna talk about Daigo now. The rise of Daigo. So I don't know if this is a coincidence, but this is the first time I've seen Daigo in a tournament where he didn't look like he literally just got out of bed.
It's the clean shave, man. Like that Gillette thing in the stream.
Of bed. It looked like he got an adequate amount of sleep. He flew to the tournament venue early and thus didn't get jet lag. He looked refreshed. And somehow, because of this, he gets top 2. Is that a coincidence or what?
Maybe. I think he was holding his stick upside down. He was holding up forward quite a bit instead of down back.
Yeah, could someone let Daigo know that Guile is a charge character? And he doesn't have access to his specials by doing so? I
Also, I don't know, holding the stick upside down maybe give him like the idea that he had to do more upside down kicks too. Like that's grand finals in a nutshell. It's like, oh, what am I gonna do with this crouching medium kick? Of Kareem's crouching medium kick is so dangerous, right? So I'm just not gonna be on the ground ever, either jumping or doing upside down kicks like that. That was Daigo.
If you guys want to play a drinking game, take a shot every time Daigo does an upside down kick. That's the game. All right.
And you'll black out before grand finals.
Yes, he will. I always, well, at first I whined, but I've always said that Guile's upside down kick is the best normal in the game, and I still think it is to this day. And Daigo is really, really like exploiting how good that normal is, especially in the caddying matchup when she's fishing for crouching medium kicks. And Daigo's just blowing that up. Constant upside down kicks in neutral, confirming it, using V-Trigger too. Now with Guile, right? And he's really found a way to really make this character his own style. Like, this is the most original style that I've seen Daigo play Guile now, especially since Guile got nerfed a bit this season, right? Or I wouldn't say a bit. He got nerfed hard compared to most of the cast, the top tiers, I would say. And Daigo is showing that. Like, he's like, okay, if you won't want me to zone as much, I'm gonna go in, right? And he's playing Guile extremely aggressively and really showing off his normals. And yeah, really good defense too.
Yeah. Another thing is he's getting less predictable with the EX flash kicks. Like, you could see that he wasn't doing them as reversals. Like, he was waiting a split second and then doing them, or doing them in like really awkward situations. Like, sometimes he would block a crouching light punch and then do a flash kick, and it would work. Like, when you least expect it. Because Daigo was known for getting to top 8s and then doing an EX flash kick and losing. So
yeah, he would literally do them in situations where it would be so obvious. And he's banking on the fact that it's so obvious, the opponent won't block, right? Yeah. And he would get blown up for it, honestly. It almost looked like he was being stubborn about it. And it looks like Daigo's kind of like, I wouldn't say holding his pride, but he's noticing it. And he's making adjustments to it, and now he's more successful with it in general.
Instead of doing EX flash kicks at every wake up, right now he's holding forward at the beginning of every round. And it worked really well for like majority of the top 8. People were scared of this. It's like, what the hell? This guy was walking forward.
Yes.
How do you explain this? But Punk was not as faced, I guess.
Yes. So let's talk about Punk now. This might be another Punk dynasty going on right now. Punk has won 2 majors, and did you see the amount of points he has, Mir?
Yes, a lot.
I mean,
more than anyone else.
Punk could literally go on vacation for the rest of the year and come back, and he probably still would be in the #1 seed for a Capcom Pro Tour. So I think Punk is fine. He's so dominant right now. I mean, he reset the brackets, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he reset the bracket. That's very, very difficult to do in a major, to win the set, resetting the brackets. And yeah, he's doing so well right now, and he's mostly just playing caddy, just sticking his guns no matter what the matchup. So.
Yeah, it stayed cool until the end. Like, it looked like it was Daigo's, it was Daigo's match, but then those last 2 rounds, he just brought it back. He played really well, solid.
Very close.
Even in the face of danger of Daigo's Guile, renewed form or whatever, like just holding forward.
You gotta remember, Daigo is at his strongest when he plays long sets with people, right? He's known for dominating long sets, and like the fact that Punk was able to reset it and then stop him before he was able to get downloaded is very, very impressive. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. So, that's pretty much the mix-up. Another really, really good major. I'm trying to figure out what the next major is actually right now. But
well,
we should have one per month. I don't know. Help me, Mira, while I'm looking.
Yeah. No, I will say, like you said, the mix-up was definitely a great tournament. We saw more of the European side of things, mostly in pools, I would say.
Yeah.
Because top 8 is kind of like same old faces,
The
except
usual
I guess
suspects.
Tokido. I guess Tokido and Fujimura got lost in translation or something. But yeah, like it was just interesting to see the European players play, because not a lot of them actually do travel to the US majors. And yeah, like, I don't know, just the level of play for the entire tournament was great.
Yes.
Top 8 included, of course. And Daigo's matches, of course, were, I don't know, exhilarating.
Yeah, Daigo
just
was the highlight
hilarious,
this
honestly.
turn, for sure. Yeah, they were great. Yeah, so the next major we have is going to be Combo Breaker at near the end of May on the 24th. So we got Combo Breaker to look forward to, and then the month after we have Taipei Major and CEO, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, Evo coming around the corner. So, yeah, we'll basically keep you guys posted when we have another big tournament, and if any news or updates come out. Let us know what you guys think below of the Mixup, the tournament. What you guys think of Street Fighter V news right now, and what you guys are hoping to see. And yeah, we'll do the song and dance again. So be sure to like the video, guys, and of course subscribe to the channel. Really helps out. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.